Good morning, everyone. Today's Friday. You are on Daily Huddle, where the day is dedicated to leadership and business. Today, we've got two very special guests. A new friend named Tiery Phanor from Haiti, who is an aspiring candidate for presidency in Haiti. And we also have our good friend, Mr. Mike Wittenstein. Mike, am I saying your name right?
No, you should say it in French, like Tiery Phanor. It sounds so sweet. Michel Wittenstein.
Oh,
Wittenstein.
Michelle Wittenstein, we shall say that. Well, gentlemen, I want to give you a minute to introduce yourselves to the world so you can do justice. A minute or so. Uh, Mike, I'll start with you. You are the founder and owner and the person who runs an organization called StoryMiner. And tell us a little bit about Story Miners and give us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, I'm going to start with me.
Yeah.
When I'm asked this question, I like to answer with some of the things that helped me think the way I think and be the way that I am. When I was younger, I was an exchange student in Brazil and the former Soviet Union. Now, for a European, it's pretty common to be in different cultures, to speak different languages, but not so much for a native-born American. So those experiences gave me a view into the world that made me learn early that everybody is so much the same. We're 99% alike. Everything else is just small differences. I learned that language and culture is are two different things. It's one thing to know the words, it's another to know the meaning and the nuance and the history and how people relate to those things. I studied international management. I was IBM's XE Visionary or eVisionary at the time. And I started Story Miners about 22 years ago. We've done storytelling, and now we're using storytelling as a way to prototype the future, which is something we'll talk about with Thierry. How was the Thierry? Was that kind of okay?
We said Thierry. Do you know the soccer player Thierry Henry?
No, no.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Jay, you are originally from Haiti.
Yes,
And
sir.
in conversations with Mike, you have expressed your desire not only to help your country, Haiti, which is my country as well, uh, but you've also expressed the desire to run it and be its president. Tell us a little bit about you in about a minute, and then we'll dive into the question of the day together.
All right. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be here. Well, who I am, I was born in Haiti. I came to the U.S. when I was 19 years old. I am married, have two children. My wife, Tonya, she's a communicator. And also, I was a pastor for more than 12 years. I work under several ministry, such as Creflo Dollar, Bishop Jakes. So I was a pastor and loved people, serving people. This is my heart desire. Well, when I came here when I was 19 years old, I remember when it was time for me to actually change my status, for me to become a citizen in the US. But deep inside of my heart, there's something was inside of me say, you can't change your status because you're gonna go back home and bring help in your country. So to be honest with you, this is not a desire I had, but I could say for me, it seems like it's a mission. It's a mission for me to give back to my country. Because when I left Haiti, to be honest with you, it took me 5 years to go back to Haiti. And when I went back there, I feel like that they have so much need. And we have all these people that are living outside Haiti, the diaspora, who have so much wealth they can bring back to the country. And I feel like I had a desire to go back and help my country to develop. So I experienced something when I was 13 years old. I remember
Would you
living,
pause for a second?
uh-huh.
Pause for a second and let's frame the conversation inside of the question we created and what we're considering. So there is Mike and there's you. There's something
Mhm.
you want to accomplish in the world and in Haiti. And there's a way you currently say it and speak about it. And then there's the miracle, the magic wand of storytelling that Mike brings to the party. And
Yes, sir.
we're going to play inside of this question today, folks, is this. Here's the question. What is your leadership story? Discover how transforming strategies into stories unlocks impact. So here's what you're going to witness. Tiery's going to take a moment, guided by Mike, to say what he wants to say the way he says it currently. Live, not Memorex, right here in front of your eyes. Mike is going to coach Tiery to flip the script and turn his strategies as he speaks them into stories. And you're going to witness how turning strategies into stories unlocks impact for the people who are listening to you. So given the way you've introduced yourself and given this context now, folks, wherever you're listening, tighten your seatbelt and pull your seat closer to this conversation. Mike, I'm going to throw it over to you so you can set the stage and get Tiery going.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Tiery, you've already given a couple of very important clues about what your leadership strategy is. You talked about bringing back wealth to the country. You talked about being on a mission. You've talked about other things with me in other conversations. I have a question for you, but before I ask that, I want to ask everybody who's listening and who's on the chat to be a sounding board for Tiery and to just blurt out in short phrases, but meaningfully chosen words, how you're feeling in the moment. I'll remind you of that a couple of times, and Sorrel, please help me out. So, Tiery,
Mike, you want them to blurt that out in the chat or
in the chat, not verbally.
In the chat, exactly.
Yeah. Especially when we get to like version 1, version 2. You know, it's like the eye doctor. And you see better with 1 or with 2. Let's.
Okay.
So, Tiery, why run for president?
You know, Mike, to answer your question, I never wanted to run for president. My heart desire, I wanted to be a pastor, a businessman, and that's all I wanted to do. I want to preach and make money. But when I went back in Haiti in 2019, and when I look at the situation, I feel like there was something need to be done. And Obama said something that really caught my mind. He said, sometime if you want something to be done, you're gonna have to do it yourself. And I think that's what motivated me to go back in Haiti and want to run for president.
Okay, so that leaves me feeling like you shared with me your origin story, if you will. So that was the moment that everything went. But I still don't know why you want to do that job. That's really old information. It's from when you were a kid. Now, why do you want to run today too? That's not a bad answer, but we're going to suss more out of it.
Mike, honestly, I really want to run for president because I see Haiti has a lot of opportunity, a lot of potentials. But the problem is because of the corruption, and I feel like the Haitian people are looking for a leader they can trust. A leader they can trust, a leader they can, that when he says he's going to do something, he's going to go ahead and do it. And I feel like I'm that person. And when you bring all this thing together, the desire I have to help people, and also my background as a business person, I think I can contribute into the change of the country. So that's the desire.
All right, that's noble. Can you prove that to me with an example of something about how you are trustworthy, or the people deserve, the country deserves to have a brand where the promises that the leaders make are kept. It's really that simple. So in your past, what have you done, or what can you tell people that proves that rather than you just telling it to them?
Mike, I want to share this story with you. I remember when I was 13 years old, and I was traveling from one city to another city with my mother, and we were in a bus, and the bus broke down. But when we stopped there was a little boy, probably around 7 or 8 years old. It looked born skin and bone. He was very skinny. He haven't ate for 2 weeks. And then I remember when I was sitting down on the bus, they gave me that little boy, and it was on my arms because they were gonna take him to the hospital. But mistakenly, they give him something to eat. And then that little boy wasn't eating for like 2 weeks. And then while I was holding him in my arms, he passed away.
Oh my
And
gosh.
passed away. He looked at me straight in the eyes and breathed his last breath. So for me, I was only 13, that situation for me, I never knew I was like not to eat for 2 weeks because my father was a great business person and he had several people who worked for him. So I didn't understand how could a little boy haven't eat for 2 weeks. And I think these are fuel that motivate me over the years to go say, you know what, something got to change. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what else to say, but I could say this is one of the major incidents that really motivate me to want to go back and serve my country.
Very cool. Very cool. So those elements, Tiery, are part of your, let's say, your origin story. And every superhero has an origin story. You know, what made Superman the way he was, and so on. Talk to me a little bit about your plans. What I'd like to hear more sooner as you're telling me who you are is more of today. And I know it is a really complicated situation. I know that when there's foreign intervention in a country, particularly in Haiti, it leaves behind some really bad effects. And Haiti suffered from that. And that's just one of the complications. So thinking forward toward plans that are not general or are not just hackneyed rephrase kinds of things, specifically, and you can use governance phrases, but it needs to be something specific. Just mention a hint of some kind of a plan or something that people can go, oh, I see how when he was a kid, he felt this, and now he's going to do this. That's going to help people discover who you are. And one teaching point for a second. If you're in a position of wanting to do something for others, it's important to ask their permission. You can't just jump in and do things. We all know that from being parents or having been affected by others.
Hey, Mike.
The way of asking that, I just lost my train of thought. The way of asking that permission is not to tell a story, but to give an experience. So remember that when you're speaking, other people are listening, but they're blending everything they know and all of the things that have happened to them and the other worldviews that are going on. They're mixing that all together. So you're just a teeny part of their day. And if you can deliver an experience for them, they'll remember it more, they'll take it in more, it'll become more a part of them. And you are in the business of creating a movement right now. So think in terms of an experience as you answer that. What are the plans?
Mike,
yeah.
As you are creating that segue to how Thierry did it, to then create an experience, I noticed that Giovanni has his hand raised. He may want to chime in. Let's listen to that.
Yes, I didn't see that. Thanks.
Derail the train of thought. All right. Hey, Gio.
Hi. So I can't quite chime in yet because it will take the conversation in a kind of a different direction. I was inside of this interesting inquiry that I wanted to take on Terry's insight and Mike's insight. So let me have Mike finish where he was going, and then I'll chime in because he might go in a different direction.
Perfect.
Thank you, Gio. Thank you.
Perfect. I just wanted to acknowledge your hand, Gio.
Thank you.
So, folks, we're kind of like halfway, Mike. The whole thing ends around 9:30. So let's go ahead and accelerate into the next segment. So, folks, if you're tracking, Thierry said what he said in response to Mike's question, and it had the impact it had on your listening, on you. And now, Mike, I think you're going to shift to creating an experience for others and see what the impact is.
Okay.
All right.
So Thierry, I'm gonna accelerate a little bit. Don't forget the answer that you've been holding back, which are what are your plans? And what I'd like you to do is, as you're answering that, also answer this question, which everybody has on their minds in Haiti. Why will you succeed when everyone else has failed? Make sure, don't answer that directly, but do it by creating an experience.
You know, Mike, I envision Haiti, which is self-sufficient, a country that is not dependent on outside help. And also, I do believe it's time for the government to begin to invest massively in our agriculture, our school system. Because right now, if you know the situation in Haiti right now, there are many schools right now that are not even open. And my goal is to have a country where kids can go to school for free, as stated the Constitution, and also have best healthcare, create a university where kids can go to school for free and give back to the country. Because I do believe Haiti have a lot of potentials, and it's time for us. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the energy, but you're not answering my question. My question is, what are your plans? Those are your goals. And by the way, you stated them as your goals, which isn't as powerful as saying the people of Haiti have declared that they want, or I've observed the need. When you make it yours, it's all about you. It's more egotistical, and it's like every other candidate. Yeah.
Currently, number one, my goal is to establish the military. Number two, change the educational system. Number three, reconstruct the touristic site that we have in Haiti so we can have more visitors come into the country. So that's my goal. Did I do better now?
You did differently. Sorrell's going to weigh in.
Mike, I think one of the things that this is demonstrating, which is really perfect, is that the way I think human beings, people think and speak to others usually is in terms of what they're thinking and what their goals are and what they want to accomplish. Now, to take all of that and create it as an experience for others is something that takes a lot of practice. So I'm wondering, Mike, could you take what Thierry has created and maybe from your own perspective, pretend you are Thierry and create an experience for us to give us?
I'm a consultant. I just tell people what to do. I don't know how to do it. Thierry, you could do something like this, and I'm going to apologize up front because I don't have roots in the country. I don't know the details, and I haven't had your life experience, but I'll try to share a kind of a pattern. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Haitian. It sounds funny to say this, but I'm Haitian born. And when I was very young, I had a moving experience where a child who was malnourished died in my arms. It made me realize that that should never happen. As I matured through the years, I learned that the way that someone becomes malnourished is a failure of a number of different interacting social systems, education, healthcare, the way the country is set up and run, politics, economics, all of that. It took me decades to kind of parse all of that. And with all that's going on in the country right now, and so much stagnation and corruption and all these other things that end in ION that just aren't good for people, I thought, I don't have a vested interest. I'm not interested in personal gain. I'm not interested in fame, but I am interested in seeing my country and its people get back on their feet again. You see the direction this is going? Specifically, I think that we need to correct three things. We need the military to, I don't know if I'm saying your words the right way, but we need stability so that the country can operate, which means the military needs to take a more enforcing, but following the rules, not on its own precedent. We need education, and we need to take advantage as a complete group of people of all of our resources, which includes tourism and especially agriculture. We've got a rich history of blah, 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 and let's use that. That little twist right there is about giving people the feeling that they already have what they need. It's accelerating in terms of an experience. Let's just jump a little bit forward. What that means to you, if you're listening to me, is that there's a role for you in this future. Whether you're a teacher or a firefighter, or you haven't been able to work for the last 10 years, imagine what it would be like if you see where I'm going with it?
Yes,
So,
sir.
Mike, this is cool, right? You mentioned earlier that you wanted to get a feel of how it's going and how people are being impacted. I think that might be the moment there. There is what was happening before and what's happening now after you create an experience. How do you want to test that?
Let's have Terry go one more time. Terry, this is a big leap. Don't feel pressure. Just do what feels
Oh no.
natural. And Lizeth, Molly, Harumi, anybody else that I can't see on the screen, could you please weigh in on the delta, the change from Thierry's first explanation to whatever comes next? And he'll use that feedback to just keep improving. One last thought. In my opinion, the best way to express strategy in changing times like what we're living in today, where we don't know what's going to happen at 2 o'clock today, we just don't know, is to express strategy as a story. Because story is like a prototyping tool. Like, software has code, strategy, brands, products and services, ideas, they have stories. And you keep iterating that story until it reflects exactly what you mean and has the emotional impact on others that they need. Okay, so Thierry, let's give it another twist. I'm going to give you a slightly different question. And audience, please get ready to type away. Thierry, you've mentioned some of the goals that Haiti needs to reach. And some of those have been said before, and some of those are new. But tell me one thing that you're going to do differently after you're elected president that people will go, we voted the right guy in.
You know what? The one thing I will do if I become president in Haiti is to put an end and the instability, insecurity, the gangs, all the killing. My goal, the number one thing, that'll be my priority. The next 6 months, if I become president, there will be no more gang. Because one thing I can tell you, I have all the details where those weapons coming from, the people that are doing it, even though they don't know who I am, but I know who they are. So that will be the number one thing I will do, to have a country where people, citizens of the country, can move around freely without no problems. So that will be the number one thing.
Is it safe for you to share how you're going to do that?
Well, I'm not going to give the detail. I can't do that. But when you ask me what is the number one thing, I think that's the number one thing that needs to be done right now.
Without giving me all the detail, what can you tell me that gives me some evidence that you know what you're talking about? Because I believe your passion, but I don't believe your plan yet.
Well, I can't give you all the detail. Here's the thing. Even though I've never been visibly in politics and people know me, but I have family members that have been in high position for more than 30 years in Haiti. So I will not mention their names. So I know what's going on behind the scene. So I think this is one thing so I know what's going on behind the scene.
Okay, so you know the strings to pull, you know the pressure points and things like that. You know you can dismantle the corrupt practice, if you will.
Yeah, but okay. I can't give that much details online.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mike, I think now this is a good spot to take a pause and then take the next few minutes to engage the rest of the people here. Let's take a pause, and then Gio, you've got a comment or question to create. So, folks, if you take a minute, there was how Tiery Phanor created his strategy before, and his second attempt now, how he created it now. Put either a 1 or a 2 in the chat. If you think number one was it, or number two was it.
Let me chime in. I need to say what I need to say. First of all, Mike and Terry, what a challenge you guys are taking on. The coaching and the storytelling for the opportunity of a campaign in front of live with an audience. No, man, you guys are stars. First of all, like, what in the world Sorrel thinking? I'm like having a breakdown over here. First of all, because this is too many variables to be able to be present and really maximize this thing. So Terry, wow, thank you for taking on the opportunity of being president of Haiti. I don't know if this was is this real? I did miss something. Is this real, or it was like a mock? Like, are you guys mocking, or this is like Terry's actually in the consideration of being president?
This is real.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is
Okay,
real.
so Tiery, man, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being vulnerable
Thank
and
you.
being with us and taking on a conversation that it sparks millions of emotions in a person for millions of people, and allowing yourself to take on Mike in front of all of us, and in his view and his takes on the opportunity of taking on how to craft that story in such difficult circumstances like they are now, and in such a challenging topic, which is becoming president of Haiti. Wow. So I want to acknowledge both of you. Mike, thank you for taking on this in such a serious way and teaching us how critical storytelling is to impact. So I wouldn't want to grade anything right now. I just don't think it's useful to have that impact on Tiery. Imagine if everybody gives him 0. Like,
No, they're not grading him, Gio. They're
oh
rating the first speaking and the second
no,
speaking.
no,
Which
don't
one do they
grade, don't
prefer?
grade. The emotional impact of that is unnecessary. Tiery, you got 2.
Now,
You got
thank you for
4 from
protecting
all of
Gary
us.
that
This is
way.
amazing. This is amazing. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
I want to
Thank you
say
for-
something, Tiery.
Yes,
What I wanted to say, Tiery, and Mike, including you, Mike, and you, Sorel. One of the things that you said at the beginning, Tiery, was, man, and it's 9:30. So I'm just gonna lay out a terrible question that
yes, sir. Go ahead.
requires like 5 hours of a conversation. I hope you come back. I hope I get to have this interaction with you in the future. The question was, one of the things that you triggered my brain when you were saying, I think I really believe, I really feel I'm the right person in the opportunity of integrating corruption and what people want. Well, you didn't say that, but that's what I heard. The opportunity of integrating corruption and what people want. For somehow I heard that in what you were saying, and I was thinking in your speaking, I was thinking, well, corruption is a force that got created to resolve the needs of a few, right? But it's really the needs of a few, like I mean, there's a reason why it's there. It's the needs of a few, right? The survival of a few. And then there is the needs of the many. And so I was wondering how to integrate both. How to integrate both worlds, the needs of a few and the needs of the many, without making corruption the devil. Because I think if we take corruption the devil, the massive force to defend the needs of a few will be there. And so far it's winning. So I don't know. So it's a big question for 30 seconds, Tiery. And but I hope you come back. And Sorel, thank you for creating this platform for Mike to teach me. I learned so much with you, Mike. And but anyway, I'm gonna be quiet now.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Thierry. Now, notice something. It takes something to take a strategy and transform it into a story. Because typically, as human beings, we don't speak that way. And it takes something to be in an environment like this, Thierry, like Gio's pointing to be the one struggling to take your strategy to turn it into a story. And then to have people think and go, which one made the difference for my brain? So I want to echo what Giovanni's saying, and thank you both. Mike, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to wrap up, and again, appreciation to everybody, including those listening now and later. Thierry, the big transformation in your story is, I think, around, and I hope I use the right word, inclusivity. I was coaching you to bring everyone else into the story that you were telling. So you're the one that, as the storyteller, as the leader, as the potential president, you're the one who has to paint a vivid picture of how all the given circumstances are going to work. not one at a time, not giving people the chance to push back and resist, but painting that more complete and tangible view of your future and of everyone's future, and showing them the steps to getting there. So by guiding them through the process of how it will be for them, that's the shift in the storytelling. And I hope that came through for everybody. It is a tough skill, like Sorrel wrote in the chat, and it's so worth it. And it's something that everybody can start to adapt. I've seen it hundreds of times when people stop thinking about what's going on in their heads and think about the experience they're creating for someone else. It just shifts the conversation. And you noticed it when Gio said, "You didn't really say this, but I heard blah, blah, blah." And it brought him into the conversation. It was real for him. And he was now a participant, not just an auditor. And that's what conversations like changing governments and changing countries' directions are all about. It's about changing millions of minds, not just delivering a speech. So great progress. I'm so glad that we got to do this. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
What you guys want to know is that Thierry and Mike are really good friends, and they've been at this for a while, and both agreed to come and play the game just the way they played it. And the Daily Huddle is the kind of environment where you can play that game. So thank you for playing that. Thierry, I'd love to give you the last word. So please take the last word.
Well, the last word will be thank you for inviting me. And Mike, thank you. And everybody that's online, thank you so much. I do believe that I can come back again, share my goals and the plan I have for the country. So thank you so much for inviting me.
I think Thierry's appearance fees are going to go way up after he's president, Sorrel. So you got him when it was inexpensive.
Gotta get him back. Gotta get him back.
Thank
you for being here, guys. So the question of the day was simply this: what is your leadership story? How do you turning strategies into stories raise the impact that you have on your audience? Thank you for creating that with us, Mike. Thank you for creating that, Thierry. And thank you, all of you, for being here, creating an audience for all of that. This is your Daily Huddle. We stream live on YouTube at the Daily Huddle. And we're closing today, as we do all the time, with our 8 tenets. The first one is love. Thierry, I know how much you love the people of Haiti. Thank you for demonstrating that. The second tenet is laugh out loud. Laugh like crazy, laugh like no one is watching. When you laugh, it actually creates something inside of you that heals you, and it creates something outside of you that heals the world. Eat mostly plant-based. Stress less. Give everything you've got, including your attention and your time, the way you did today, and even your vulnerability, the way you did, Thierry.
Appreciate that.
Get some rest. Move your body. And last but not least, just when you think what you're thinking is the truth, check your assumptions. Maybe it's not. Maybe doubting what you know is the best medicine. This is the Daily Huddle. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you on Monday. We're here every day from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Until then.
Thank you, Thierry. Thank you, Mike.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, family.